we still seek no wider war.
The United States does not start fights.
America does not seek conflict.
I don't like to use military force.
Our nation enters this conflict reluctantly.
I prefer to think of peace, not war.
This mad dog of the Middle East, I find he's not only a barbarian, but he's flaky.
The drug-related, indicted dictator of Panama.
President Bush called Saddam Hussein a little Hitler again today.
We're dealing with Hitler revisited.
Bin Laden and his terrorist allies have made their intentions as clear as Lenin and Hitler before them. Saddam Hussein is a homicidal dictator who is addicted to weapons of mass destruction.
Saddam Hussein's intentions have never changed: to deliver chemical, biological, and, if we let him, nuclear warheads.
Today, Secretary of State Powell brought the United Nations Security Council the administration's best evidence so far.
Colin Powell brilliantly delivered that smoking gun today. Colin Powell was outstanding today. I mean, it was lockstep. It was so compelling. I don't see how anybody at this point cannot support this effort.
I thought he made a great case for the purpose of disarmament. It was devastating. I mean, and overwhelming abundance of the evidence. Point after point after point. He just flooded the terrain with data.
It's the end of the argument phase. America has made its case.
The Powell speech has moved the ball.
I think case is closed.
Once the war against Saddam begins, we expect every American to support our military, and if they can't do that, to shut up.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
The United States has been engaged in an effort to stop the advance of communism in Central America by doing what we do best.
The idea to blitz the capital of
There is, quote, complete confusion.
This will be a campaign unlike any other
in the senior Iraqi military leadership.
Bang, 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 bang.
Should they have used more? Should they, use a Moab, the mother of all bombs, and a few daisy cutters, and, let's not just stop at a couple of cruise missiles.
Newest, biggest, baddest U.S. bomb.
We'll pound them with 2,000-pound bombs and then go in.
2,000-pound bombs in urban areas?
Oh, sure.
The plane I'm holding in my hand here, the F-117 stealth fighter, was used in these attacks.
It is a 2,000-pound bomb that is deadly accurate, and that is the thing that is allowed us in Afghanistan and will allow us in this next conflict to be terribly accurate, terribly precise, and terribly destructive.
This is the beginning of the shock and awe campaign. According to one official, this is going to be the entire 9 yards.
It was a breathtaking display of firepower.
Targeting capabilities and the care that goes into targeting to see that the precise targets are struck as impressive as anything anyone could see. The care that goes into it, the humanity that goes into it, to see that military targets are destroyed, to be sure.
So by the time the Second World War was here, they had a frontman in Russia called Joseph Stalin. In America, they had one of the great frontmen of the 20th century as president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a bloodline, French aristocratic bloodline, one of the gang. And in Britain, by the time the real action started, they had one of the offshoots of the Marlborough bloodline, Winston Churchill, whose image left us by history is a flippant farce as Prime Minister of Britain. Over here, that Teutonic Knight Network and the secret societies like the Brill Society, the Edelweiss Society, and the Thule Society, they had manifested the phenomenon known as Nazi fascism and Adolf Hitler. And then these opposames, created and controlled by the same force, were played off against each other to create the Second World War. At the end of the Second World War, people were, particularly in Europe, America too, were mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually exhausted. how many people in America, in South Africa, in Britain, in France, in Germany even, yes, in Australia, and all these countries that took part in the Second World War, creating 55 million casualties, how many of the people who actually fought in it wanted to take part? A handful, maybe. Vast majority of them, especially when they saw what war was, they wanted to be at home seeing their kids grow up. Most of them were flipping kids. So why did we take part in it? Why do we take part in these wars? Because a tiny hierarchy in this country manipulated its population to believe they had to fight this country. And the hierarchy in this country manipulated its population to believe they had to fight this country, and these two hierarchies locked into the same hierarchy that was string pulling both sides. We call it war. And in the 60s there was a guy called Donovan. I met him in America recently, in Santa Fe, where he was singing at some event. And he sang a song. It was written by a Canadian lady called Buffy St. Marie, I think, which sums up not just where the responsibility lies for this stuff, but where the power to stop it lies also. And it went like this. He's 5'2", and he's 6'4". He fights with missiles and with spears. He's all of 31, and he's only 17. He's been a soldier for 1,000 years. He's a Catholic, a Hindu, an atheist, a Jain, a Buddhist, and a Baptist, and a Jew. And he knows he shouldn't kill, and he knows he always will. Killing for me, my friend, and me for you. And he's fighting for Canada, he's fighting for France, he's fighting for the USA. And he's fighting for the Russians, and he's fighting for Japan. And he thinks we'll put an end to war. And he's fighting for democracy, he's fighting for the Reds. He says it's for the peace of all. He's the one who must decide who's to live and who's to die. And he never sees the writing on the wall. But without him, how could Hitler have condemned him at Laval? Without him, Caesar would have stood alone. He's the one who gives his body as a weapon of the war. He's the universal soldier. And without him, all this killing can't go on. He really is to blame. His orders come from far away no more. They come from here and there and you and me, and brothers and sisters, can't you see? This is not the way we put the end to war. And if we could just remember one thing, we would bring so many elements of this crashing down. When we stop playing the game, there is no friggin' game. And we have the power to stop whenever we choose. And we have the power to stop insisting that everyone else plays the game we choose to play.
And so they may seem confident and arrogant, and it may seem like that, and it will seem that for a few years, but it's coming down, and it's coming down because humans are waking up.